English is not allowed in their schools. If you travel to Germany, English is not allowed. If you go to any countries like Saudi Arabia, you dare not speak English because English is a crime in those countries. The question then is, why do we have to speak English in Nigeria, knowing fully well that we have Igbo, Hausa, Ijaw? We have many languages in Nigeria today, yet we are forced to speak one. The reason why we are forced to speak one language is part of the fraud that was created during the colonial time. Should we all speak our languages today in Nigeria, we will not understand each other. That's a fact. Should we, I say, speak our different languages in the current country known as Nigeria today, we will not understand each other. So the question then is English our true language, or was it forced on us during the colonial era? I'm sure many Nigerians knows that English is just another fraud to remove our identity. Let's look at number 3, benefit of a Yoruba nation, benefit of a Yoruba country. Some might probably mix it up and say, what is the difference between a nation and a country? You can call it a nation. United Kingdom is a country. That is exactly what we are saying. We want similar like that. We want to be known as a true country, not a fake one known as Nigeria, because there's nobody that is a Nigerian. Nigeria doesn't have a language. Nigeria doesn't have a land. Rather, Britain in 1914 created a fake country and call it Nigeria, using every means now to hold on to that. And that is the reason why we would also do whatever is needed to explain on a daily basis to the 200 million Nigerians that your thinking is different from others. The Yoruba thinking is different from others. The Yoruba wants to progress in life. We don't know whether others want to do so, and we cannot allow people to hold us back. We cannot tolerate and allow people to take away our identity and force a fake one on us. If you travel, like I have done most of the time, you are asked, what country are you from? Mentioning Nigeria was never meant to have been if we have been left alone by Britain, but rather because Britain knew what it takes and what it means to be a Yoruba man, and they actually forced a crime on us called the amalgamation. That is exactly what we are saying now. We would have to de-amalgamate Nigeria to move forward. There will be no successful outing in an election because we are all different people. You will not be able to achieve all your goals and desire because Nigeria is a fake country. Nigeria is not meant to have been a country, but rather Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Ijaw, every single one of us should have been a country, but we were all forced together, and we are now demanding that Nigeria needs to be de-amalgamated. And it needs to do so quickly before things goes the other way around, as many Nigerians are getting angry. The reason why you are angry today is not because of the current president, it's because the current president does not understand that he cannot fix the problem of the Igbos and the Hausas and the Ijaws. They all have different reason to keep Nigeria. And we will continue to explain to millions of Nigerians that your life is now being mortgaged by the West to deceive and lie, that Nigeria, the most populous black nation, the Commonwealth, as the King Charles would say, means nothing to you and me. It only means to them. Nigeria needs to break up to many countries like it has been done in the past during the Soviet Union. Breaking up would not mean that we cannot still have borders that we can travel in between. You can still go to a Biafra country. You can still go to Hausa country. You can even go to Ijaw country and vice versa. But should we continue to force ourselves in this fake union, what we are preparing for is a problem that might cut across every part of Nigeria. Nigeria is meant to have many countries with many presidents, not one president. President Bola Tinubu is a disaster, just like Obasanjo was a disaster, Yaradua was a disaster, Jonathan was a disaster. Any other person that take power from President Tinubu will still be a disaster and a failure. They cannot fix the problem of the indigenous people because you are running on a fake country. You are running on a fake template. The foundation of Nigeria was fake. So it does not matter whether it is APC, PDP, SDP, AAC that comes into the power, they will not be able to rectify our problems. It is time that Nigerians to be told the truth and nothing but the truth. But because the West continue to tell you lies with all their created embassy in Nigeria for their own selfish interest, most of you will be lucky to get a visa to some of their countries, but the 60 million Yoruba people will not be allowed to travel out of Nigeria. They will take those that are very brain out of us for different reasons to come and work. And for those that cannot make it to Europe will end up in other African countries. Whereas we can have our own passport, like the British passport, where before we go further, Nigeria, as we said, is a fake country. But according to the information as of today, we have 500 languages and you expect Tinubu to be a successful president. It will be a failure and a disaster just like his predecessors. Whether it was Buhari, the monster, Fulani, evil man, or the nepotism Yoruba man that will create every part of Nigeria to his own pocket, or Jonathan, another drunkard. It does not matter. Anyone that takes the power would have to do exactly for his own people. That is no longer a country. A country is meant to serve the citizen. Tinubu will not be able to serve the Igbos, neither will he be able to serve and give protection to the Yoruba, because Fulani continue to kill and massacre us, and Tinubu has kept quiet, a failure from his end. And he has no power to stop them. Rather, there will be more killings, more attacks. And this is the reason why we are saying to the Yorubas, it is time that we all understand that there is nothing called Nigeria when you have over 500 languages inside this shithole country. Some have now also told me, and from today, I will stop calling Nigeria a zoo, but it will be called jungle, where anyone will kill each other for their own benefit. Nigeria is a jungle, and that jungle needs to be dissolved so that we can create a zoo where people live a better life. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, and my job is to educate, enlighten you that as a Yoruba man, you would have a better future just like the British citizen that travels around the globe with their own British passport. Your shit-o Nigerian passport cannot even take you to Libya, not to talk about Niger. South Africa will continue to disrespect that passport. But should we have our own Yoruba country today, we can have cordial relationship with all the countries around the world and build an economy that works for you, that can protect you, that can serve you, where your freedom will not be be restricted, as we have saw with the young NYSC girl, where your life will not be in disarray. Most of you have graduated, yet you have nothing to achieve after the graduation. There is no job. The country is too big to be fixed. Tinubu cannot fix Nigeria. He will fix his pocket and his cronies and the criminal gangs around him. They would enrich themselves and he will leave power, and then the next president comes in, and it goes on and on and on. That is not how a country is run. As much as the British citizens complain about their government, they still have everything available for them. So when we talk about a Yoruba country, you're also talking about having a Yoruba passport. We would have our currency, and I want you to take note of this currency that I've showed at the beginning of the program. This is part of the fraud. This is the 100 naira. I want you to get hold of one. And you can see clearly, it's stated that 100 naira century, 1914 to 2014. The question then is, why should we continue to spend this fake currency when we can have a Yoruba currency? 500 languages spoken with one currency is a disaster. It is time that we pull out of this structure called Nigeria. Even though many disagree, but you can have your currency, as we know that countries are also trying to change their currency to have their own new currency, as we have seen. Nigeria leads 6 nations to oppose change of CFA, France to ECO. But we know that Niger, Burkina Faso are now looking to drop their current currency and have the one that works for them. Because France, another criminal country that destroy that region, will have to suffer. Because now there is evidence coming up that Burkina Faso, Mali are now debating on ditching the CFA. The Yoruba will not have to spend these less quality shit-o currency that has been devalued by the criminal gangs of the World Bank and the IMF. We can have our own new currency. It is possible. It is doable. But you must first support the Yoruba nation agenda. For as long as you are supporting this fake country, your life will continue to be miserable with the Naira. It is an agenda to keep every one of us as slaves. We are no longer slaves. We have left that era. We are now human beings that wants to have our own country away from the shit-o one that was created and forced on us by the white people. And until you agree and me agree, then it will make the job easy. But if you're still one of those that disagree, then your life will be more miserable on a daily basis. If you look at this Al Jazeera article, 23rd of February last year, there is now a debate on ditching the safer begins as Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger forge a new path. Amid talk of ditching the West African France, a colonial era legacy. We must all wake up. And we need to wake up as quickly as possible if you want to have a future. The future I'm talking about is not in Nigeria, because there's nothing called Nigeria, because Nigeria is just a man-made, and we need to stop it now before it is too late. We can all stop it together, or you can continue to live in denial that Nigeria will be a great place, as David Lamy has told us. It's a lie. Nigeria can never be great. Tinubu cannot fix your problem, because the problem of Nigeria is far bigger than Tinubu, because Tinubu is dealing with many countries in one country. So looking at this, if Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso wants to change their currency, when the Yoruba have their own country, we would also have our own currency, as I stated, in the benefit of a Yoruba country. Let's move to number 5, our resources. The reason why Yoruba are suffering is because the resources is no longer coming to you, rather is taken out and is used for the benefit of few. Should you want to have a good life, you must support a Yoruba country. You must support a Yoruba agenda to have their own independent country, where our resources will be used to protect and fix all our problems, from the welfare to education to electricity. You will live a better life because the resources would have to be used for your own good. There's no point having many resources in Yoruba land and the Yoruba people continue to suffer. The reason why you are suffering is because you are inside a fake country, a jungle called Nigeria. And that is why our comrade in 2017 said exactly this.
Impediments to Yoruba development. Is the impediment to Yoruba development.
Nigeria is the impediment to our development. Nigeria is the one holding us back. Nigeria is the crime scene, the jungle, because I've been told that using the zoo, because when you go to the London Museum Zoo, animals are kept in a good environment. They are given the appropriate food. They are not maltreated, as many citizens of this fake country are being maltreated on a daily basis, because it's a jungle. And jungle is where people want to survive. So if you visit the London Zoo, even though you might have to pay to get in, the animals in that zoo are well kept and well looked after. But in the jungle called Nigeria, your life will be miserable.
Enjoy brunch with your besties.
And you will not survive, because the agenda is not to keep you happy, but to make your life miserable. So when we talk about the zoo, I have been told that we should stop calling Nigeria a zoo, rather Nigeria is a jungle. And I think I do agree on that, that it is a jungle, because the zoo is a place where people can see what animals enjoy. And I'm going to give you an evidence of a video that I've just picked up of a London zoo that was that was produced 2 years ago. Let's quickly watch the video. I do not own the copyright. It's just for the purpose of this educational program on Koikimedia this morning. It's exactly 10 minutes past 12, and I welcome you all into the program.
I think they're lemurs. I don't know, I might be wrong, but they literally literally just come out and they're all running around. So we're going to nip to 11, then we're going to win me on, and then we're going to win me
Go down there, and then we're going to go for lunch before the rush starts. Okay, I can see why they're in here, because it's lovely and warm in here. What a great...
I'm sure you could hear the young man saying it is warm inside where the zebra is. Many of you are living in Nigeria today in a jungle where you do not have electricity for the last 64 years. I bet it that no light will be taken off in the zoo, in London Zoo. But you will never experience a 24 hours power supply. Tinubu can never give you a 24 hours power supply because the agenda of the country that is meant to be countries does not want that kind of agenda. So Nigeria is not a country that wants you to have 24 hours electricity. So what you're watching right now is the London Zoo. And you can see where the animals are kept. They are kept in a nice place compared to your life in every part of Nigeria today, because the corruption continue. We can deal with those corruption if the country breaks up. We can take care of ourselves. Stop talking about leadership. Tinubu will never be a good leader. Atiku is a criminal leader. Peter Obi is a criminal leader. Obasanjo is a criminal leader. They are all criminal leaders. And even though most of you say it's the leadership problem, it is what it is to have our country and deal with those criminals within our country. I don't want to be dealing with the criminals from the Igbo side. Let the Biafra deal with that. I'm not interested in whatever crime that the northern country will wants to do, but I'm ready to deal with the criminals when we have a Yoruba country. You cannot deal with criminals right now because Ibori will continue to be a criminal. All your politicians from Saraki, they are criminals. Remi Tinubu, criminal. Obasa, criminal. Your governors, criminals. They are all criminals because they've made your life miserable. They cannot even give you a standard zoo, but in London, the zoo is standard. And we would never call Nigeria a zoo on this platform. We would rather call it a jungle, because I must respect that animals that are kept in London Zoo are well maintained and well taken care of. Let's watch a little bit more of the video.
You can get really close to them. That's really cool. It smells like a garden centre. It does. It looks like the wood chipping. It doesn't smell bad at all. It's like really clean, doesn't it? You smell nice. You smell quite good for an animal.
Now, what's funny about this is this sign says the best time to see them in the winter is between 11 and 12. When I was stood over there by the toilets, it literally...
Come to places like this, we always go to lunch before lunch.
Yeah, a little bit early.
I think that's rule number one. Down when you're in the bloody... to go into central London when you can come and see Bug Ben.
Speaking of bugs, that's your favourite bit right there. All the bugs and the spider walk-through. Let me just say that. There you go. You can get there you go. There's your reward for braving the spiders.
Coffee.
Also, we decided just to sit down for a minute. We've come into Gorilla Kingdom, but this bench is alive.
I was like, does this work? And
When no one was there for Alfie, we were. Cat's protection, here for every cat's journey.
AI is starting to change the way that businesses and public services work.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Only us.
AI is starting to change the way that businesses and public services work.
Slim chance they will land on you, especially if you are not wearing bright colors, as they are more attracted to vibrant hues. I absolutely love the artwork on the walls. They are truly stunning and add so much character to the space.
Impediments to Yoruba development. Is impediment to Yoruba development. Without Nigeria, we would be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in Korea. We are far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance.
And we welcome you back once again to our live broadcast, Yoruba Nation, as we continue to deliberate and discuss the reasons why the Yoruba people needs to have no business anymore with Nigeria. Let's move swiftly to stick more to number 5, our resources. Ability to control and manage our own almighty God-given resources. These resources is not for the white people, it's not for UK, it's not for America, it's not for the Europeans. Our resources that we have owned from generations to generations are meant to look after us, protect us, give us everything that we own. But today, all that is not working. It's because of one Nigeria. One Nigeria is the reason why in Osun State your gold is stolen and taken out of Nigeria. One Nigeria is the reason why your resources in Ondo State is not working for you. Your resources in Ekiti, in Ogun State, in Kogi, in Kwara, in Osun, in Oyo State, all your land has now become deserted because of the attacks that are coming through by the Fulani terrorists. The reason why you are not being able to enjoy Lagos State is because the resources is not manageable for those Yoruba people within Lagos State. Rather, it is benefiting the Shagoris, the criminals that are working on behalf of you, rather for the resources to work for you. As a Yoruba man and a Yoruba woman, your life will not be better because the resources is only being managed to take care of others while to keep you in abject poverty. And we have the evidence to back it as we say. The politicians are criminals. They are manipulators. They have already started manipulating Nigerians and the Yorubas to come out again in 2027 and vote. We warned you in 2023 that for the interest of us to get out of Nigeria, nobody should vote, but rather Yoruba people were thinking that Tinubu would give them peace, joy. Tinubu has now given you more problems, more headache. You can't blame him because Tinubu cannot fix a country like Nigeria because Nigeria is controlled from outside and Nigeria is many countries of its own. So let's listen to this quickly as evidence point that politicians have nothing good to offer. They are criminals. And they will remain criminals if you don't stop being a Nigerian. Nigeria has come to an end and we need to allow it to go so that we can have a future. I'm just getting the news. Like I said, they are criminals. Jandor joined APC. He was never going to leave APC. They are all criminals. Whether it's El Rufai that joined SDP, they are all criminals. Their job is to keep you thinking, but the future is no longer in Nigeria. The future is now outside Nigeria, and so shall it be. So, once again, let's quickly watch this video. It's in Yoruba language, but I'll try to translate for the benefit of those that do not understand. We are not bringing anybody in. We're not taking any phone call. You listen, and that is how it is for now.
ìbá kíní tó dorí kodò tí òró tó ìbá kíní tó dorí kodò tí ó ṣẹ̀jẹ̀ ìbẹ̀yìn yàmi òṣòro mọ̀fà ẹ̀ látọjọ́ kan àtẹ̀tọ́jọ́ kan àti fún òróró ẹ̀yin lọ sálá sóló òṣòlò sálá fọ́nrán kan la rí lánàá tó mú ìbanilọ́kànjẹ́ wá fọ́nrán yẹn ló gbé mi wá láàárọ̀ yìí ní kùtùkùtù tí mo fẹ́ káwa èèyàn ká fi ọ̀rọ̀ jómitóró ọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí káwa náà tún rí bí ṣe ń lọ torí ọjọ́ kan bẹ tí mo sọ̀rọ̀ tí arákùnrin kan wá comment lábẹ́ comment section mi tó ń sọ pé ó ní èmi ò máa ń pa òṣèlú kémi ó máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìtàn kí n má dá sóṣèlú mo wá rẹ́rìn-ín mo rí wípé àwọn ará abẹ́ ni ọmọ Yorùbá náà ni o tẹ́ ẹ bá rí wọn àwọn ni wọ́n ti ìjọba tó wà tálẹ̀ ní débi tí wọ́n dé yẹn wọn ò mọ̀ ń pa ètò ìlú ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá rí ìwọ tó bá mọ̀ jù wọn lọ sẹ́nà kí wọ́n lẹ̀ látara ẹ̀ wọ́n á sọ díjàgbọ̀n wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní tàwọn sọ̀rọ̀ òdì síyàn mo kàn fẹ́ ṣàlàyé nǹkan kan ni tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú èmi náà ti pẹ́ díẹ̀ ní òṣèlú o nítorí gbé mi lórí pé ká máa ṣe ètò tí wọ́n ṣe yìí láti fi sọpọ́tì ilẹ̀ Yorùbá òṣèlú ló gbé mi débẹ̀ olúkálùkù ló ní mission tó bá lọ sínú òṣèlú ẹlòmíì ọ̀jẹ̀lú ni àwọn tí máa jẹ ìlú run làwọn bá débi òṣèlú ẹlòmíì bí ó ṣe dé ráìsì kóńgò kan pé òun lòún bá débi òṣèlú ẹlòmíì bí ó ṣe rátẹnujẹ àtẹlẹjẹ ló bá débi òṣèlú kó fún 1000 kó fòkè kó ṣe àráìsà kó bá wọn gbádà kó bá wọn dà lúrú lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ bá débi òṣèlú ẹlòmíì political analyst ni kò mọ̀ ń pa jíníkì òṣèlú rárá ṣùgbọ́n yóò máa give analysis nǹkan tí ò lè work láéláé lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ bá débi òṣèlú tó fi pera wọn lólóṣèlú àwọn èèyàn kan dẹ̀ wà wọ́n bí wọn sínú òṣèlú ni ìró ìró àwa tá a dúró yìí tí n bá sọ bí mo ṣe jẹ́ nípa òṣèlú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tí ò mọ̀ mí yóò mọ̀ wò pé àsọsì pọ̀ sí òṣà báwọn tó mọ̀ mí wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé alágbájá ni ẹ̀fín mo lẹ́ǹkan lára òṣèlú tí n bá sọ̀rọ̀ nípa òṣèlú dáhùn àyè kan ní rí olóṣèlú kẹsàdúrà fún mọ́láyé.
That's the point I want us to hold on to. The man is explaining that if he tells you about politicians, you will stone them to death. Because these are not human beings. They are all criminals. Criminals in power that knows that there is nothing called Nigeria, just as this another criminal ex-president stated. He knew, yet he refused to do the needful to de-amalgamate Nigeria while he was in power. We come back to the man, but let's just listen to this criminal politician, as most of them and every one of them, women, men, among every one of them, there's no loyalty for them, for Nigerians. But the stupid Nigerians, the crazy ones, think that they can fix Nigeria by voting, and they are preparing again, especially the Yorubas. They want to vote again because they think by going to vote will bring peace and joy, as many of them are continuing to be killed. They can't go to their farm. They've all run to Lagos. They've abandoned their farming. And while they're in Lagos, their life is miserable. Listen to this criminal politician.
Thinking about how we've been having this conversation about the unity of Nigeria. And I reflect back at some of the prominent statements made by some of our founding leaders. And I feel that probably this would help us to have a conversation on the Nigerian unity. I just brought forward, not to bore you. First, and I quote, not my statement, Nigeria is not a nation.
So if Nigeria is not a nation, why should we continue to give it the fuel to continue? We need to remove the fuel, the oxygen, and allow it to dissolve. Let's go back quickly to what this man was saying again. The man said, and I quote, "You will never pray for politicians just like Jonathan, just like Obasanjo, just like Tinubu, Atiku. They are all criminals. And we must stop them. You cannot stop Tinubu. He will rig himself back if you give him the opportunity for 2027. He's a criminal. Criminals knows what to do to rig election. He's perfect on that. He's already planning for that. Even as much as the Northerners might not give him the room to do so, but he will still manipulate because criminals like Tinubu will rig himself back and there's nothing you can do. They are criminals. They are good at that. He was a criminal while he was in the US. We already have all the record. It's out there in the public domain. A drug pusher, because anybody that is receiving drug money is a drug pusher. He was never an accountant. He's a criminal. He was manipulating the numbers. He was a criminal while he was the Lagos State governor. And nothing has changed. He's already building another criminal empire by using the same template. Feed the people in the north. That's what the son is doing right now. Another criminal. That is what they're good at. Criminals will continue to manipulate the people, the gullible ones that are looking for, 10 kobo, while they are stealing billions. Because Sheyi Tinubu is another criminal that the father has given the template of how to defraud Nigeria. That is why Sheyi Tinubu, according to the article that just came out from Koikimedia, is telling Nigerians, another criminal, just like father, like son, criminal. But many stupid Yoruba people, because they love this criminal family, they think that they will also be enriched. How can this criminal is telling us that his father, a criminal man, a Yoruba criminal man, is the greatest president in the history of Nigeria? Imagine Sheyi Tinubu is telling me and you that. He's a criminal. That is what criminal they are good at. And the Yoruba people must understand now that your future is no longer my father is the greatest president in the history of Nigeria. Do you agree with this statement from Sheyi Tinubu? Sheyi Tinubu that has become the monopoly of advertisement in Lagos. You dare not try to put out any other advert in Lagos State without consulting this criminal young man. He's already taken the footstep of the father. He's a criminal. That is what criminal does. They build their criminal empire, and he will now be Lagos State governor, and he will then do worse than his father. It will be the continuity of the criminal empire. My father is the greatest president in the history of Nigeria. Sheyi Tinubu is telling us that. A criminal. Criminals. But the stupid Yoruba people, they will buy into this nonsense. But my job is to bring them back to the reality, because it is not a family business. We don't even know track record of Tinubu himself. Tinubu track record is a mess. Let's read quickly. Sheyi Tinubu, the son of the president, Bola Tinubu, has defended his father against persistent criticism, insisting that certain individuals have been targeting their father. He said, your father is a criminal. We must target your father. It's a fact. Evidence is out there, Sheyi Tinubu. There's no amount of food you donate to the north. El Rufai also said that your father is a criminal. that they only thought that it would do something for them, but they didn't realize that a criminal is not going to do anything for them. This is why we are not a one country. Let us get out of Nigeria so that we can deal with our criminals within each of our own sectors. So what do you expect? You're going to defend your father. During a meeting with the youth in Yola, he keeps giving them food, money, just like his father was doing before the election. Just like we told the father that Fulani killed Fashion Rotti's daughter, he was saying that where is the evidence? So Sheyi Tinubu says that you cannot continue to criticize my father and targeting my father. Yes, your father did not destroy Nigeria. There's no doubt about that. But your father created the mess in Lagos State that has turned many people to Agberu. The fact is there. Your father was one of those that created the Agberu Empire in Lagos and mostly in the southwest. And the consequence, many people are suffering it today. Since the beginning of the year, he has been touring the north and the southern state, meeting with governors. Do you know that Sheyi Tinubu went to see Gumi, another terrorist? So when we now say that you are a terrorist, you will start telling us that you are not a terrorist because we don't know what you are doing with Gumi. How can you visit Gumi, a terrorist? For what purpose? Why? What is it there that you want to gain from the visit? And this is why we are saying to Yoruba people that these criminals will make your life miserable. It is time that we say enough is enough. He has been touring the whole of the north, looking for something that is lost, thinking that they love his father. They hate your dad, and they are just waiting to hit him back. So, as we say all the time on this platform, Sheyi Tinubu, like father, like son, gangs of criminals. They are gangs of criminals. And if you think that we don't have the evidence that Sheyi Tinubu visited Gumi, this is the video evidence right in front of you. That is Sheyi Tinubu and Gumi. Imagine 2025, Sheyi Tinubu visit Gumi and is saying that we are condemning, we are criticizing his father. Your father is preparing you as he has done I mean, even if you want to be governor of Lagos State, what is your business going around the north? Your business should be to campaign in the southwest. But he's going around the north in the hope that his father can gain the trust of the northerners for 2027. That is the reason why he's going around, visiting dead and alive Buhari, as you can see from here. You can see him here. You can see Sheyi Tinubu there visiting Buhari. Buhari that killed 28,000 Yoruba people. Always looking as if they are Fulanese. We know you are a Yoruba man, but he's dressing like them so that they can accept him. So he's doing this because his father still wants to be the president come 2027 if we give him the opportunity to do so. This is the reason why we are saying we are not one. If it was just a Yoruba country, it doesn't need to be going to the north and dobale for a fake Buhari. Buhari that the wife run out of his house and living in Dubai. Husband and wife are not living together. Yoruba people, wake up from your slumber. Wake up before it is too late. These politicians are all criminal. That is Sheyi Tinubu and Gumi right there. You can see him there. This is not an AI video. Maybe some of you don't know who Gumi is. Gumi, as we know, is another Fulani terrorists that has been used to collect money on behalf of the terrorists. Once again, a very good afternoon and welcome to the program. Let us tell the world that we, the Yorubas, do not want to have any more relationship with Nigeria. Let's go to 2023, People's Gazette. And you can see the headline. Can the SSS or the DSS tell Nigerians why Sheikh Gumi is still working free? And that is the same person that Sheikh Tinubu went to visit. Unbelievable. Let's read further. Sheikh Abubakar Gumi, also known as Sheikh Gumi, the controversial and mischievous Islamic cleric and the demagogue, has long been infamous for his divisive, treasonable, and incendiary ethno-religious rhetoric. But his recent inflammatory comments have reached a nadir. Gumi's reckless outbursts threatening Nigeria's corporate existence and are capable of throwing the nation into ethnic and religious turmoil. His recent hate message and attacks on Nigerian Christians, whom he derogatorily and bigotly referred to as infidels. Even the Yoruba Muslims are called infidels, can make them a target for violent attacks in the northern Nigeria. Gumi diatribes are further widening Nigeria's ethnic and religious fault lines. He should be arrested and persecuted for inciting violence. The arrogant and the bigot cleric has been tolerated for too long. During Buhari's regime, Gumi fraternized with terror groups and the killer herdsmen. This is the same person that Sheikh Tinubu is holding meeting with. Unbelievable where we have found ourselves. Yet Sheikh Tinubu is saying that we are criticizing and calling his father. Since the beginning of the year, he has been touring the northern and the southern states, meeting with governors and key political figures. Does Sheikh Tinubu wants to be the president of Nigeria? If he wants to be the governor of Lagos State, why are you touring the north? What is your business in the north? If not, you're trying to portray your father's future that is dead in Nigeria, because it is dead because El Rufai says that the north will not vote for Tinubu come 2027. The game has just started. But the Yoruba must not be caught up in this mess. That is the reason why our self-determination must be on a top gear. Speaking in Yola, Yola is not a Yoruba place. It's for the northern Fulanese and the Hausas. But yet, Sheikh Tinubu went to Yola. It was never politics. But they keep coming for me. We will come for you, a criminal gang that you have decided to take Lagos as a monopoly. It's a fact. The record is there. Nobody can challenge you to run an advertisement in Lagos State. That is a crime against humanity. This will not be tolerated in a Yoruba country, and that is the reason why people like him and his cronies will not endorse and support that you should have a benefit of a Yoruba country, because you can never get a benefit right now in Nigeria. The welfare system will not be there. The manipulation is there. The intimidation is there. It cannot intimidate people like us if it was meant to live in Europe. But it will do and kill you if you are in Nigeria. It will do so because I know what it can do, like father, like son. They have all killers around them that will take you out. That is why the young girl is crying out that what has it been that I cannot criticize the government as a Nigerian? Who is the government? Like I said to us yesterday during our program, in Serbia, people are protesting against their government. But in Nigeria, you are not allowed to protest. This is the kind of the night vigil that we're telling the Yoruba people to go and prepare for. So let's take you to a video of the event as it's happening in Serbia on Saturday. The Yoruba must wake up now before it is too late, because Seyi Tinubu and his gangs will not allow you to have a good life, and they will continue to intimidate you while you are inside a one Nigeria. Tinubu and his children dare not intimidate us in the Yoruba country, but he will do so in Nigeria, because Nigeria is a gang of criminals, and like I said, is a jungle. So when you look at this video that we're about to show you in the courtesy of William, let's listen and see the reactions of students campaigning, protesting, demanding their right. And when this country gets better, Nigerians will travel there and say you want to go and live there, work there, and study there. But you forgot that the people there fought for something. We are not asking you to go and fight and defend Nigeria, because Okparaji died as a Nigerian. Today, nobody remembers him. Rashidi Yekini died as a Nigerian. Today, nobody remembered him. Tolulope Arotile was killed during the Buhari Osibajo government. Today, nobody remembers him. Jumoke Oyeleke was shot dead by Odumosu, a Yoruba man, while he was a Lagos State Police Commissioner. Today, nobody remembers the family. Mohbad was killed in Nigeria. Today, no justice for Mohbad. Delegiwa was killed by Babangida. Today, no justice. The Chief Justice of Nigeria was killed during Obasanjo. Even Bisi Akntoye said we should ask Obasanjo who killed, imagine, 2 elderly fake people, stupid Yoruba elderly people, fighting each other, telling us, you know, we should ask Obasanjo who killed Uncle Bola Ige. This is not a country, and it can never be one. So you are meant to support the disintegration of Nigeria. But if you are still one of the Nigerian in the hope that Baba Adeboye will pray for Nigeria, Nigeria will be successful, you better ask Baba Adeboye if he can travel to his hometown without any security. Don't let any one of these cleric men of God deceive you about Nigeria anymore. The end of Nigeria is here, and it will happen. And as you can see from the 100 Naira note, 1914 to 2014 is 100 years old. The time has elapsed. Nigeria is now running on an expired time. We need to come together and tell President Tinubu, divide Nigeria, let us go our separate ways. If not, Nigeria will be worst place more than Yugoslavia. Let's go and listen to the protest it's happening over the weekend in Serbia. So when everything dies down, they got their demands, the students are happy, you will then go and live in Serbia, Belgrade, and you think that they will not bully you. Racism will not, they will call you monkeys. Because while they were fighting, you were there in your country doing nothing. We're not asking anybody to fight in Nigeria, but be prepared to support the disintegration of Nigeria. As a Biafra, as an Hausa man, as an Hausa woman, as an Ijaw people, we have many stakeholders, criminals, and everybody just wants to take their own share. And the moment you can show your force, the government will buy you through, like Tompolo, Asari Dokubo, and the rest of them, and keep some of them shut. While you, how can places that has quality crude oil are suffering? Abacha killed Ken Saro-Wiwa for that purpose. He challenged the government. He was killed in 1994 or 95, if I'm right. Let's listen quickly to this. I'll come back again. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. If you're new to the platform, subscribe, share. What we discuss here is how Nigeria will have to be disintegrated peacefully, non-violent. by educating and talking sense to your medulla oblongata. You will wake up because your life has been mortgaged in one Nigeria. Your life will be precious, will be beautiful. You will live a better life than a Saudi Arabia citizen when we have our own independent country. You will not have to travel to UK under any kind of scheme, whether it's a COS, whether it's a student visa that I've told you many times is a business in the UK. It does not matter. You can then use a Yoruba passport to just come and visit UK, watch football, and go back home. You will not have any reason to live here for 25, 30, 40, 15 years because your life will still be miserable even with all the quality that you have here. There is no place like home, but the home is not in Nigeria because we have stated it clearly and we will continue to state it that Nigeria is not a country. And it can never be a country. It does not matter how you try to defend this shithole. It is not a country. It has many countries inside it. And those countries need to be allowed to go separately. And that's exactly what we are doing by educating you. Because most of you are praying that Jesus will come and fix the problem of Nigeria. Jesus is not coming anywhere because Jesus is not as stupid. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not as stupid as you. The Yoruba people need to wake up. People around the world are fighting for something. You must be ready to fight for your own freedom. It's not going to come easy, but we pray it comes quicker.
In a demonstration over the death of 15 people killed in a rooftop collapse at a railway station in Serbia last year, and the demonstrations have been growing in the recent months.
Maybe you didn't hear what the man said. The death of 15 people at a railway event that occurred in that country is the reason why people are still protesting. But the gullible Nigerians are waiting for Jesus Christ to come and protest on their behalf. The gullible Yoruba people are waiting for one Pastor Gio to come and tell them that Nigeria will be a better place. So you don't have to protest. You don't have to come out and ask for the disintegration of Nigeria. You will all continue to suffer the consequence if you do not allow Nigeria to dissolve. Some of us are living a better life, but you will not live a better life. It does not matter how much, because the jungle, you will kill yourself. You will continue to kill each other. Somebody would have to kill somebody to survive. That is how the jungle life is. But we don't want you to live in the jungle. We want you to live as a civilized society. We want you to have respect for your country. Love your country. Nobody can love Nigeria because Nigeria is not one. What do you want to love about Nigeria? What is it to love about Nigeria? Tell me. What is there to love about Nigeria? Explain to me. Why are you going to love a country that doesn't love you? A country that doesn't respect the citizen, both at home and outside. What is it there to love about? And if you hear this reporter, I'll rewind it again, says that the reason why people are protesting, and let's maybe go back there. Serbia, 15 dead, real. Let's see what comes up. The reason why they are protesting is because their demands is still, this was in December. Serbia charged 13, including the ex-minister, in a train station roof collapse. Can we charge Rotimi Amechi for the death of Dr. Chinelo during the attack? Because he said, and I quote, Rotimi Amechi, remember train attack in Abuja. He was the Minister for Transport. I warned that life will be lost, and yet nothing has been done to him. He's still moving around because we've allowed that. That is in there. Another criminal politician from the southeast. You can see his head, Kokoro. I warned that life will be lost, Amechi. The Minister of Transportation, this was in 2022, when fake Buhari, dead or alive, was still in power. Nigerians, Nigeria is not your country. We must allow it to go now. If not, many of you will lose your life. I warn that life will be lost. The same thing happened in Serbia. There was a fatal collapse of a railway station roof in the city of Noville. 15 people died and prompted a protest. That protest is still ongoing as I speak to you from last year, December. This is what makes a country. Your right to defend and fight. Why should Igbo wants to fight your own fight? If you start a rally, they're not going to get involved because we are not one. Hausa will be smiling. Yoruba will not do anything because we are all different nations. The Serbian prosecutor have charged 13 people, including the former transport minister. They should have charged this criminal Igbo man called Amechi. He should be in the prison. But innocent Nigerians will steal bread and they put them in the prison. They forget about it. And for 10, 20 years, somebody will then go and do a short video. It will go viral and the governor will say, oh, we should release him. He has spent his time already. That is your country. That is the kind of country they want me and you to live in. The Minister of Transportation said it with his mouth. Has reacted to the terrorist attack on Abuja-Kaduna train, saying that he had warned Buhari that is the one that brought terrorists. You are telling Buhari to protect us. I pity your life in one Nigeria. My job is to continue to educate you. My platform is not non-violent. We have not called for the killings of anybody. But we are saying that we will not sit back while people's lives are being, on a daily basis, massacred. We will tell Nigerians that the reason why your life is going through that sector is because you still want to believe in one Nigeria, and that is your problem. The day you stop believing in one Nigeria, your life will be better. Amechi, who was speaking to reporters after visiting the scene of the terrorist attack in Abuja, this was when Buhari was in power, said that the unfortunate event could have been avoided if 3 billion digital security equipment had been acquired. Yet, Yaya Bello stole 80 billion. All they need to do is just say, Yaya Bello, give us 3 billion from the money that you stole so that we can use to protect Nigerians by giving them adequate security on that line. But they are not interested in protecting your life, and we lost an innocent Igbo girl. I cannot forget her. She even tweeted, but the Northerners said that I believe that it's Igbo people that have the ESN that attacked the train. Maybe some of you forgot the tweet. Her name is called Dr. Chinelo. Dr. Chinelo was killed in the Abuja train attack. She was about to leave Nigeria. She was planning to go on whatever, maybe to study more, but she got caught up and died in Nigeria. You might not be the next person, but what about those that have been killed in the past? Let's allow Nigeria to go. I beg you all. Tinubu would not fix your problem. I don't blame him. The problem is too much for Tinubu. Because even Buhari that left power could not do nothing. 16 years of the PDP, they're so shaggy. You can see Obasanjo is running all over with his big belly, all over the place. Another criminal politician. Dr. Chinelo died days before she planned Nigeria exit. Dr. Chinelo was traveling alongside others on the Abuja-Kaduna train when they were attacked by the Fulani terrorists. She was shot and in pain. She had asked Nigeria to pray for her, but Nigerians on Twitter, especially the Northerners, they said, I hope it's not IPOP that killed you, that just shot you. You can see that this is not meant to be a country. I pity the lives of many of you that still want to save Nigeria. I pray that Nigeria doesn't happen to you, and if it doesn't happen to you, good luck to you. But in Serbia, they don't take it as easy. They don't joke with it. They come out, they fight until their demands are met. What is their demand? Prosecutor filed the indictment on Monday after the November 1st accident. 15 people died, and since December last year, let's hear more from what is still happening in Serbia. Share the program and invite others to do so. And remember, as we say, every donation is important. Support this platform. Support this organization. It might be too much for you, but it is our job to remind you that we do not need money from the politician to run this platform. Your own contribution will go a long way. Your own support will help us to continue to develop and make our stake across every part of Nigeria on the reason why Nigeria needs to break up. How do you support? You can do donation through those information on your screen. And if you're not too sure, you can call me on +44 74 0440 5917. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, popularly known as Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Let's now go further with the discussion.
Thousands took part in a demonstration over the death of 15 people killed in a rooftop collapse at a railway station in Serbia last year, and the demonstrations have been growing in the recent months. The demonstrators accused the ruling dispensation of corruption and lawlessness, and more than 200,000 demonstrators gathered in Serbia's capital, Belgrade, in what could potentially be one of the largest protests in the country's history. According to the country's interior ministry, at least 107,000 Serbians took part in the rally. However, estimates from the Serbian Monitor, the Public Assembly Archive, suggest that the numbers could be somewhere between 275,000 and 325,000. Now, as thousands of Serbians waved flags and held banners against President Alexander Vucic's government, at least 13 protesters were arrested by the Serbian police. Demonstrators were also called upon to exit the area near the parliament, citing security concerns. Following the massive demonstrations in Belgrade, Serbian President Vucic, in a nationwide address, said that he gets the message and has pledged to learn from it.
We get the message. Everyone in power needs to understand the message when so many people are protesting.
Yoruba people, I want you to take note of that part. The president of Serbia is saying that we got the message. Thousands of people cannot be on the street and they will not get the message. Thousands of people cannot be on the street and they will not get the message. Let me speak in Yoruba quickly. But get message. But the message is that he needs to go. That is what they're telling him. They have been protesting for 4 months. Oshumeri Bako war, they give up. Let me rewind that video back one more step before we go back. Look at the crowd. Look at the energy. This is what we want when the night vigil starts. This is the kind of images that will be shown around the world. If truly we are ready. If we cannot get this kind of image, then we are not yet fully ready. Thousands must be able to tell the international community. You can see them. You can see it has become a carnival. And the president says, we get the message. We will learn from it. We get the message. We will learn from it. Okay, how is the military going to attack these people like now? How are they going to attack the thousands of people on the street? Can you see the energy?
Protesters were arrested by the Serbian police. Demonstrators were also called upon to exit the area near the parliament.
Did you see that?
Security concerns. Following the massive demonstrations in Belgrade, Serbian President Vucic, in a nationwide address, said that he gets the message and has pledged to learn from it.
We get the message. Everyone in power needs to understand the message when so many people are protesting. We're going to have to change and learn from it. On the other hand, I hope that others have understood the message of the majority in Serbia.
15 people got killed. And the citizen says, no, we will not back down. Their life matters. Let's quickly come back again to the program at 1 hour, 50 minutes. At exactly 2 hours, the last hour, we will be speaking in Yoruba. In case you are not a Yoruba speaking person, we will not be able to help you. But for the first 2 hours, we have helped you to understand why we need to go out of this shit old country called Nigeria. So let's go to number 6, Constitution. Many Nigerians are praying that Tinubu will do something around the Constitution, but they forgot that the Constitution itself is a fraud. For 30 years, they have been begging them to review this fake Constitution, but nothing has been done. Let's hear how Agbakoba explained it to us. And moreover, he says, we are not meant to be one. It's not compulsory that we need to be one. It's not that we should be one. We don't have to be one. We can have many countries as we like out of Nigeria. It doesn't matter. And we can have a better constitution that will serve and work for you. Listen to Agbakoba, the senior advocate of Nigeria. These are experts in constitution. I am not, but let's hear what he said. And as a Yoruba country, a Yoruba constitution will define the system of governance. Tinubu is already preparing for 2027. That means there's no more governance. He has 2 years left. Yet, their campaign vehicle has been seen in Abuja because they are not interested in your lives. All kings will function independently and will be given their due respect, just like King Charles has the respect of the citizen and of his government that are working for him. But it's the opposite. Ooni of Ife is not respected by Tinubu because Ooni of Ife called for a security summit last year. I believe Tinubu must have told him to shut it down. That has led to many deaths in Yoruba land. Let's listen to Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Agbakoba.
President Tinubu needs to put his best foot forward to govern the country. If he does that, in 4 years, he can turn things around. But there are certain critical things he would need to do. The first thing is to say, what's the Constitution? If, for instance, me and my wife Lily don't agree in our marriage of 45 years, then we can't do anything. So the first thing that President Tinubu would need to do is to ensure that Nigerians all agree to be one country. You recall that Bolage asked those two questions. Do we want to be one? It's not by force.
Do we want to be one? This is the pertinent question that every Nigerian should be asking each other. You hate the Igbo. Then why do we need to be one? Allow them to go. Biafra wants to go. Release Nnamdi Kanu. Let him go. We hate each other. You don't love Hausa people. You can still get married to them. It's not a problem. If you're married to them, it will just be an immigration issue. Many Yoruba people marry the white people. And it's immigration. As long as you follow the immigration rules, you can marry an Oyibo woman or a Yoruba marry a Oyibo man and you will get your papers. As long as you love each other. And if you have married before, yes, immigration will decide on how and what kind of resident permit will be given to your own husband for those that have married out of their own region. So because you marry an Igbo woman now, we should stay in Nigeria, even though we don't like Igbo people. It is you that love Igbo. We don't love Igbo. The same vice versa. But having a relationship does not stop us from having our country. Many Igbo people marry Oyibo people in Germany, and they are given permit to live together. So when people think that, because some of us have married each other, do you know how many Nigerians are getting married on a daily basis outside Nigeria to people that they don't even have any people that they married that they are not from the same country? Do you know how many Nigerians have married people from Germany, from France? Some of them is a genuine marriage, while some of them is just for them to get papers so that they can live in this country comfortably well and do exactly what they can do. And the same people will not tell you, Yoruba people cannot go because one of my nephew marry an Igbo woman. So we should remain in Nigeria with the hatred, with the disunity among us. Are you for real? Are you kidding me? So because of that, we should remain in one country called Nigeria. And Agbakuba says that, do we want to be one? I don't want to be one. I want Biafra to have the country. I have Arewa have their country, or Hausa, Ijo have their country. Everybody has their country. And I can decide if I want to travel to any of those countries. There are some countries around the world that I would dare not want to go because I don't have any business to go there. So it is important that everybody understand that it is the politicians that are manipulating you, that we are one Nigeria and enriching themselves. Where is Yaya Bello now? A criminal is in Abuja enjoying the stolen wealth. And the case is dead. Why you still little things that do jungle justice for you?
If we want to be one, how? We haven't answered those questions, which is why I told President Akpabio of the Senate that it has taken 23 years to solve the problem of the Constitution. And I urged him, in conjunction with President Tinubu, to resolve the Nigerian constitutional question now by inviting the owners of Nigeria. The owners of Nigeria, mark you, were those who owned Nigeria before Lugard brought his amalgamation in 1914. Call them in. These are the people who own the country, and ask them questions. What do you want to see of the Constitution? Because without a Constitution, we're going nowhere. And no one will doubt the fact that the Constitution bequeathed by the military in 1999 is unsatisfactory. You can't build anything out of a weak foundation. The economic development policy of President Tinubu, the political development policy of President Tinubu, and everything else he wants to do rests on a very solid foundation. So let him immediately resolve that. How can we spend 23 years looking for a foundation for building a house? Does that make sense to anybody? So that's my number one issue. We need to resolve this issue of, do we want to be one? And mark you, the flip side of the question is that we mustn't be one, because Yugoslavia, which was 6 countries under Marshal Tito, when he died, decided to break apart. And today, a lot of them are very strong countries: Macedonia, Croatia, Slovenia, Slovakia. They're all doing well. So there is no sacrosanctity about Nigeria being one country. There's none. I personally would wish for Nigeria to be one country, but we must agree. Now that is the problem. Because we have not agreed, and because the National Assembly has appropriated to itself the all-knowing wisdom of giving us a constitution, that is the weakness. So that's the starting point. President Tinubu needs to put his best foot forward to govern the country. If he does that, in 4 years, he can turn things around. But there's...
So you've listened to Agbakuba. Let's listen one more. Because many Nigerians are expecting Tinubu to become a miracle and fix Nigeria. It cannot fix Nigeria because it's running on a fake, fraudulent constitution that everybody knows. This is another lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria, explaining why Nigeria can never work with this fake constitution under President Tinubu.
We have problems in the land, and the problems, I want to say this, I might be off the cuff, is because of our constitution. Also, Nigeria is not operating any constitution known to honesty, entrenched in group faith, brought about by unanimity of the people, acceptable to federalism, and again, that is also, we also have that problem with the judiciary because of the Nigerian situation. We have a unitary system. That's what we want. Hydra-headed. Don't let us pretend. And I've said it over and over. And I'll continue to say it. And that's unitarism has also created into the judiciary. Today, the entire Nigerian judiciary is unitarized. The Supreme Court is federal. Federal Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal is federal. Federal High Court is federal. FCT is federal. National Industrial Court is federal. Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal High Court is federal. Sharia Court of Appeal of the Federal High Court is federal. All jurisdictions. that the Chaldeans of this world, that the officials of this world, that the bailiffs of this world, when they wind their respective high courts exercised, making the law to be profound, succulent, rich, exciting, they are now vested in the different federal high court or federal courts. We're talking of how to reform the system. There is no justification in a state, in a nation like Nigeria, purporting to practice federalism, where even the Supreme Court to be overburdened with unnecessary jurisdiction in respect of land matters from Yoruba land, respect of divorce, respect of family matters, citizenship matters. How do they know? I don't want us to be deceiving ourselves. Assuming I'm even appointed to the Supreme Court today, I'm above the age, but assuming, and I'm sitting there, and you bring a matter on appeal in respect of Kanuri native law and custom, or Igbo native law and custom, or Igbo land tenure system, and I sit there, and I'm writing judgment. I'm a Yoruba man. What do I know about that? Those kind of cases to stop at the state, either Court of Appeal or Supreme Court. Go to the United States of America. The state has its own Supreme Court. We are running into trouble. We are inching there, and time is not in our favor. And I'm not tickled by what the National Assembly is doing. They are not being fair to themselves. They are not being fair to us. They claim to be amending the Constitution. What are they amending? And I want to repeat it. Do you amend something that is not amendable? When you want to amend the Constitution, by the way, Lati, where do you start? You start from the preamble. Lead the people. Oh yes, they have to amend it. Why are they running away from it? If they cannot amend the preamble, if the preamble is not amendable, then it means the Constitution is not amendable. Come on. They have to start from it. Do you start reading your letter from the back page? Do you? No, they have to start from the preamble. That means the preamble is fake. We the people, who are the we? When did we meet? And why can't we do it? I'm studying the constitutions of the world. And I say this also with every sense of humility. There's no constitution that is near as fake, near as deceitful, near as make-believe in nature and in content as the constitution, as what we call the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended.
There's no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves. We are not Nigerian. Okay, where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country. So anybody who goes there today to say, pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria have not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria. There is no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves. We are not Nigerian. Okay, where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country. So anybody who goes there today to say, pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria have not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria.
tó mo kẹ́yìn yan wa ní gbogbo ibi tí ẹ bá ti ń gbọ́ wa lórí ìkànnì wa, ìkànnì aláyọ̀, ìkànnì Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Ìkànnì tí a ti fi ń polongo fún ìran Yorùbá kó dìde ní sáà yìí. Mo ń bọ̀.
À ń fi àsìkò yìí ṣe ìkéde fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ láti gbáradì fún àwọn ìwọ́de tí ń bọ̀ lọ́nà nípa pàtàkì orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá Nation àti wípé ìdí tí a fi gbọdọ̀ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìpínlẹ̀ Yorùbá. ìwọ́de yìí náà ni a máa ṣe káàkiri gbogbo ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjìrè bí tí bàbá wa onímọ̀ ẹ̀rọ emeritus professor Banji Akntoye yóò ṣe olùdarí rẹ̀. Ọdún 2025 yìí náà ni yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀, a sì máa kàn sí wa nípa oṣù àti gbogbo ohun tí a bá fẹ́ mọ̀. Olùkéde Ọláyọmí Kóìkì, agbẹnusọ fún olóyè Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho.
lórí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá àkọ́kọ́ ní Yorùbá àtìgbò wọ́n láwọn ọ̀gbọ́n ọmọ kí Fúlàní máa jí wa gbé wọ́n máa jẹ oko wa kọ́ máa dà wá láàmú.
ẹja jáde ẹ máa bọ̀ ń ta ká ṣe ṣe kí ni o kàtúyáyá kàtúyáyá let's come out and showcase ourselves.
tó a kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa káàkiri gbogbo ibi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa lórí ìkànnì wa tí a mọ̀ sí ètò Koikimedia. Èní ní 17th oṣù kẹta nínú ọdún 2025 níbi tí a ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìdí tí ìran Yorùbá ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. Gbogbo ìgbà náà ni à ń sọ fúnra wa pé ká máa múra sílẹ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀ torí pé night vigil ó máa dé láìpẹ́. Nígbà tó bá dé, níbo ni ìwọ máa wà? Àti pé gbogbo àwa tí à ń tako pé kí ìran Yorùbá kó má dá dúró, ìbéèrè ni pé kí ló fà á gan tí ẹ̀yin ṣe jẹ́ alátakò? Kí ló dé tẹ́ ṣe ń tako ìran yín nígbà tá à ń sọ pé ìlú tó ń pè ní Nàìjíríà kò ń ṣe fún ọmọ Yorùbá, ìlú tí ó jẹ́ ìlú tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀yà ń bẹ níbẹ̀ ni. Àsìkò tó láti gbara wa sílẹ̀, kò sẹ́ni tó máa gbà wá sílẹ̀, àwa la máa gbara wa sílẹ̀ o. Ìdí tí bàbá wa alànà Professor Banji Akntoye ṣe ń sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé ká lọ máa gbáradì, ká lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ fún nǹkan tó ń bọ̀, torí pé in tó ń bọ̀ in tí ó ń bọ̀ yẹn in tó máa ṣàǹfààní fèmí àti wọ́n ni. Máa jẹ́ kẹ́nì kankan sọ fún ẹ pé kò lè ṣeé ṣe, pé kò lè bọ́ sí. Self determination gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti ṣe sọ fúnra wa ní gbogbo ìgbà under Article 3 indigenous peoples a kì í ṣe Nàìjíríà, ẹ̀yà oríṣiríṣi ni ó wà nínú Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n fi ń pè ní Nàìjíríà. Under Article 3 yẹn, àwa ìran ọmọ Yorùbá a lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti gbara wa sílẹ̀, láti lè dá political status tiwa sílẹ̀. Nàìjíríà ò lè ṣiṣẹ́, kò sí ọ̀nà àbáyọ kankan ju pé kólúkálukú dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. Kí àwọn ẹ̀yà Biafra máa lọ, kí ẹ̀yà Hausa lọ, kí ẹ̀yà Yorùbá náà dá dúró, ohun gangan ní àṣeyọrí. Ìdí tá ṣe wá ń polongo pé ǹjẹ́ ìwọ ti gbọ́ nípa pé Yorùbá fẹ́ dá dúró àbí ó ṣe ń fà sẹ́yìn? Kí ló dé tí à ń polongo pé kíran wa kó lọ tẹ́yìn kan dẹ̀ ń takò? Ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wo gan ni Yorùbá ṣe fún yín? Ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wo gan ni ìran Yorùbá ṣe fẹ́yìn tẹ́ ń takò, ẹ̀yin olóṣèlú? Alànà tí wá bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ ìyẹn bàbá wa emeritus professor Banji Akntoye. Alànà sọ fún wa pé gbogbo ẹ̀yin gómìnà, àsìkò tó tí ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kí ìran Yorùbá kó lọ síbo, kó gba òmìnira wọn, nítorí pé bàbá ṣe ń pẹ́ sí nínú Nàìjíríà disaster ló máa jẹ́ o, kò ní mú kankan jáde fún wa. Ẹ jẹ́ a gbọ́ bí bàbá wa Alànà ṣe sọ nígbà tí wọ́n bá gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá sọ̀rọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí. Kí ni bàbá Professor Akíntóyè sọ? Ó ní Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Nàìjíríà ò kì í ṣe ìlú kan, ìlú tó ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀yà nínú ẹ̀, òun ni wọ́n ń pè ní Nàìjíríà. A dẹ̀ lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti dá dúró, a lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti sọ pé a ṣe Nàìjíríà mọ́, a fẹ́ gba òmìnira wa, a fẹ́ kúrò ká ní ìjọba tara wa. Gbogbo eléyìí náà la ṣe fi ń ṣe ètò ní gbogbo ìgbà pé kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ká lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ fún night vigil tó ń bọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ a gbọ́ bí Professor Akíntóyè bó ṣe bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí ní orí world media.
What I have to say today is very important. It is so important that I will not be rendering it in the Yoruba language, because it is a message not only for the Yoruba people but for the entire world, for the international community. I want significant entities in the international community to hear me clearly, because we Yoruba, we have reached the point now, we have reached what we regard as the door to our goal. And we need to let the world know what we are doing and why we are doing it. We were included in what is now called Nigeria in 1914 through an amalgamation, which the British organized by themselves alone, without any input or signature from any Yoruba person or authority. Our traditional rulers existed, but they were not invited to be part of it. There were highly educated Yoruba people in our country. We have been producing university graduates as far as the late 1850s, but none of the leading citizens of our land was invited to be a signatory to the amalgamation decree of 1914, January 1, 1914. We were treated like a conquered people, even though we were not a conquered people. And we were included in a country whose purposes we did not know. Nigeria was created in 1914 for the purpose of benefiting British colonial interests in Nigeria. The British were saddled with, found themselves as rulers of two protectorates, one in southern Nigeria, one in northern Nigeria. The one in northern Nigeria could not produce the income, the revenues to pay the salary of the British officials working in the northern protectorate. And so it became necessary for the northern protectorate to appeal to the British government annually for subsidies to enable them to pay their salaries. And finally, in 1914 January, in 1913 September or November, the British government decided in London that Nigeria be amalgamated. And on January 1, 1914, Nigeria was amalgamated. The two protectorates were amalgamated to make Nigeria. That meant essentially no more than that the resources of the South was being used to finance the protectorate of the North. In the next many years, in the next 30 years, nothing happened. The two protectorates just went on their own. The only thing was that the resources of the South were taken from time to time to finance the North. Then came the Second World War. And at the end of the Second World War, the world, led by the United States of America, came to the conclusion that colonized people should be liberated worldwide. And so the picture arose of a Nigeria that will become an independent country of Nigeria. And under the arrangements for that event, constitutions were created. The constitution that was finally put together in 1949 to 51 divided Nigeria into a federation. And the north was made a region, the protectorates in the south. The southern protectorate was divided into two, an eastern region and a western region. And from that moment, because the objective was coming independence, from that moment,
kákọ̀ ṣàlàyé quickly fáwọn èèyàn wa ẹni tí bàbá wa ń sọ ní èdè òyìnbó ni pé àwọn òyìnbó amúlùmálà àwọn ni wọ́n kó Yorùbá, Ìgbò àtàwùsá lọ́kọ̀ gbogbo àpapọ̀. Kí ni ìdí tó ṣe kó wa papọ̀ ni pé fún economic reason, fún business reason, kò ní kankan jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Bàbá wa ní àwọn ń ṣàlàyé fún gbogbo àgbáyé nínú communique tí wọ́n ṣe pé ìran Yorùbá tó ti ń dábọ̀ tó ti dáwà rí ó fẹ́ padà sí bó ṣe wà tẹ́lẹ̀. Bí British fẹ́ bọ́ọ̀ fẹ́ wọn ò ní any choice. Yorùbá fẹ́ lọ wọ́n dẹ̀ máa lọ kò dẹ̀ sí tó máa dá dúró. Ẹ jẹ́ àtúbọ̀ gbọ́n tí bàbá ń sọ nínú tí wọ́n bá wa sọ àtúnṣàlàyé ní èdè Yorùbá fẹ́yìn tí ẹ̀ ń béèrè pé kí ni bàbá ń sọ níbi tí wọ́n ti ń bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ yìí nítorí pé international community wọ́n fi yẹ kó gbọ́n tá à ń sọ ni bàbá ṣe ń sọ lédè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì.
Britain began to manipulate to ensure that the Northerners would rule the country. And what was the qualification of the Northerners? Especially the small group that ruled the North, the Fulani. What was their qualification? One, they were believed not to be African. They were not of African origin. They were Middle Eastern people who had been migrating westwards to North Africa and to West Africa. And because they were not indigenous to the land, the British regarded them as easy to handle and manipulate. Then their further qualification was that they had rejected Western education and they had no intention at all. They showed no intention at all to accept Western education. And so the British thought, wow, these people, for us to be able to exploit Nigeria after independence, these are the people we must hand power over to. So,
lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí tí bàbá ń sọ ni pé àwọn Gẹ̀ẹ́sì àwọn òyìnbó wọ́n rí pé agbára bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ ọgbọ́n àti òye tó ní ó máa ti pọ̀ jù pé kó gbé agbára fún bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀. Kódà wọ́n ní tó bá gbé fún bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ ó máa lé Europe léré, kò ní sẹ́ni tó máa wá gbé nílùú òyìnbó lẹ́ni bá ṣe ń gbé ní bíbá. Àwọn Britain tí à ń pè ní Gẹ̀ẹ́sì wọ́n wá manipulate, wọ́n ṣe kí ni wọ́n manipulate wọ́n wá gbé Nàìjíríà lé àwọn Fúlàní lọ́wọ́. Ìdí tí a ṣe ń rí gbogbo wàhálà ìdààmú tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́ni kò ju pé Britain àwọn ló ṣiṣẹ́ ibi yẹn. Àwọn ni wọ́n gbé Yorùbá lé Haúsá àti Fúlàní wọ́n gbé lé wa lórí. Tá bá dẹ̀ máa rí ọ̀nà àbáyọ a gbọ́dọ̀ padà lọ sí bí ó ṣe wà tẹ́lẹ̀. Ẹja gbọ́n tí bàbá sọ lẹ́ǹkan sí a tún máa wá ṣàyàn àlàyé ẹ̀ fún wa bó ṣe ń lọ.
The British from 1951 to 1960 manipulated everything that could be manipulated. The sizes of the regions, the borders of the regions, the constitution, the election, ultimately, the election of 1959, the pre-independence election, was very meticulously built in order to hand over power to the Fulani of northern Nigeria over Nigeria. And we're not saying anything that is new here. Even the man who was chairman of the group, of the British colonial group that masterminded the secret operation that produced the rigging for the North, has written in his memoir, and he has appeared on television a number of times.
Níbi tí bàbá sọ̀rọ̀ dé yẹn, ta lẹni tí bàbá ń sọ? Ǹjẹ́ ẹ̀rí wà lóòótọ́ pé arákùnrin kan tó ń pè ní Harold Smith kó tó di pé ó kú ní 2007 ó ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ interview, ó sọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ bí àwọn Britain bí wọ́n ṣe rig election fún àwọn Northerners ní 1959. Kódà ó sọ bí wọ́n ṣe create censor. Ó náà wọ́n gbà bọ́n ṣe ṣe yìí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká rí ẹ̀rí torí pé ẹ̀rí a máa jẹ́ mi. Ẹ jẹ́ a gbọ́ bí Harold Smith bó ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn. Mo ń bọ̀ tí a bá tètè lọ mú Harold Smith wá, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ bàbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i. Bọ̀ ká tó lọ gbọ́ bàbá, ó jẹ́ ká rí Harold Smith torí pé a ní fídíò ẹ̀ tí ó bá ṣì wà lórí archive wa. Ká lè jẹ́ kí ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá mọ̀ pé in tí bàbá Akíntóyè ń sọ ni pé kò sí ọ̀nà àbáyọ kankan ju pé kí Nàìjíríà kó máa lọ, ká fi Nàìjíríà sílẹ̀. Nàìjíríà jìbìtì ni, Britain ló wà ní behind gbogbo in tí wọ́n ń pè ní Nàìjíríà lénìí. Britain ò dẹ̀ ní jẹ́ kó succeed gẹ́gẹ́ bí Jonathan ṣe sọ. The only intention òun ni Britain. Harold Smith ẹ máa gbọ́hùn ẹ̀ nísìnyí, òun ni bàbá sọ pé ó ṣàlàyé fún gbogbo wa pé oníjìbìtì olè làwọn Britain, àwọn ni wọ́n dá yánpọnyánrin yẹn sílẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ a gbọ́ bí Harold Smith ṣe sọ fún wa.
Mr. Harold Smith was a young, bright, and principled Oxford University graduate who was recruited by the Colonial Office and posted to Nigeria. He took his final examination a year ahead of his class. He also married Mrs. Carol Smith, whom he met while they were both at Oxford University. Together they went to Nigeria, where they had their 2 children. Mr. Harold Smith, you were featured in a program recently by BBC Radio 4, titled Document, and that was hosted by Mr. Mike Thompson. You are alleged that the British government rigged the first and most important election in the history of Nigeria in 1959 in favor of the North. Am I correct? Yes. How long were you in Nigeria from? From 1955 to 1960.
Fẹ́yìn tẹ́ ẹ̀ gbọ́ èdè òyìnbó tí Harold Smith ń sọ níbi tó ti ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, wọ́n bí pé ǹjẹ́ o ní ẹ̀rí, ǹjẹ́ o mọ̀, kí ló mọ̀ nípa 1959 election? Ó ní àwọn Britain lórí gẹ̀. Ṣe rí pé bàbá wa lànà, professor the professor, ó mọ tó ń sọ torí pé ẹ̀rí á máa jẹ́ mi. Ìyẹn ni bàbá ṣe ń sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé eléyìí tí wọ́n rígì ní 1959, ẹ má blame Tinubu tó bá rígì election ni. Ẹ má blame Jonathan tó bá rígì election, kódà ẹ má blame Buhari, ọwọ́ Britain ni wọ́n ti kọ́. Àní àjọṣepọ̀ àwa àti Nàìjíríà jìbìtì ni, ẹ jẹ́ a jẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà máa lọ. Nigeria is a crime scene. Kò lè ṣiṣẹ́. Ẹ̀gbọ́n tarakùnrin sọ nípa Nigeria.
There is no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves. We are not Nigerian. Okay, where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country.
So anybody who goes there today to say, pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria have not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria.
Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Yoruba development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end.
Ẹ já gbọ́ díẹ̀ nípa ntí Aaron Smith tún sọ ká tó padà lọ sọ́dọ̀ bàbá wa lànà. The professor tó mọ̀ye tó ń sọ fáwọn gómìnà tàná àti tèmi pé ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń lọ yìí kò lè níyanjú nínú Nàìjíríà. Kò lè sí àṣeyọrí kankan fọ́mọ Yorùbá nínú Nàìjíríà àfi kí a bá padà sí bá ṣe wà tẹ́lẹ̀ káwọn òyìnbó àwọn òyìnbó lè àwọn òyìnbó ní jìbìtì tí wọ́n dé tí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí manipulate gbogbo ẹ̀ tó kó wa sínú ìdààmú tí gbogbo wa fi ń sá káàkiri ìlà ìlò tèbí ń pa wá wọ́n gba èdè lọ́wọ́ wa wọ́n ní ká máa sọ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ṣé English ni wọ́n sọ ní France ṣé English ni wọ́n sọ ní Germany ṣé English ni wọ́n sọ ní Belgium àní jìbìtì ní Nàìjíríà kò lè work. Ẹ já gbọ́ díẹ̀ nípa tí Aaron Smith sọ ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú. Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Èní ní 17/03/2025, almost 20 minutes to 2 from my studio in London. Ẹ já tún tẹ̀síwájú gbọ́n tí Aaron Smith sọ.
And we were based in Lagos. I was on the staff of the Department of Labour. I was largely occupied with employment problems, all the employment exchanges, and statistics, and international reports, and was kept pretty busy. I was also stationed in Lagos in charge of the capital and the port. I was the port labour officer as well. And I also devised the port labour scheme, and later a social security scheme, which was one of the first in Africa, which guaranteed workers some income after they'd finished work. It was a providence scheme, as I say, it was called the National Providence Scheme, and I was very proud to have put that on the statute book.
I was going to ask you what your role is. You've mentioned 3 important. Is there any particular name given to your office while you were there?
I was a labour officer, a senior civil servant.
These are the real people. Ẹni tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ ń gbọ́n wẹ̀ ló ń pè ní Aaron Smith. Orí BBC 4 ló ti sọ̀rọ̀ kó tó di pó ṣaláìsí kọ́nà fọ́run kẹtùrí ó sọ títọ́ kó tó kú. Má jẹ́ kí politician ilé sọ fún ẹ pé Nàìjíríà ní ọ̀nà àbáyọ, olè ni wọ́n, oníjìbìtì ni wọ́n, they are criminals. Má jẹ́ kí church sọ fún ẹ pé Nigeria is one country, olè ni wọ́n, Ọlọ́run kọ́ ló dá Nàìjíríà, Ọlọ́run ò dá Nàìjíríà. Má jẹ́ kí babaláwo sọ fún ẹ pé Nàìjíríà ṣì máa ṣiṣẹ́, àwọn ti rí nínú Ifá, irọ́ ló ń pa fún ẹ. Gbọ́n tí bàbá Akíntóyè sọ, ẹ já padà sọ́dọ̀ Alànà ká gbọ́n tí Alànà sọ fún wa nípa Nàìjíríà, nípa ìlú jìbìtì, nípa ìlú tó dá ìrìn àjò ọmọ Yorùbá tó sọ di stand still. Má jẹ́ káwọn ọba sọ fún ẹ pé Nàìjíríà máa work, wọ́n wà lára àwọn tó ń jẹ́ problem fún wa lénìí. Ẹ já gbọ́n tí bàbá Akíntóyè sọ. Lórí ìkànnì Koikimedia náà la ṣe ń gbé ẹnu sí mic. Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Ẹ má wá gbàgbé, ẹ túbọ̀ donate fún wa. Ẹ fún wa ní àǹfààní kí a tún lè jẹ́ kí iṣẹ́ Yorùbá Nation láti ilé iṣẹ́ wa kó rìn sí ibi tó yẹ kó rìn lọ. Ẹ pè wá, ẹ fàdúrà ràn wá lọ́wọ́, ẹ dẹ̀ fi owó ṣe gàrí tírà wa. Owó òun ni wọ́n fi ń ṣiṣẹ́. Ilé iṣẹ́ tó bá ti ní owó lọ́wọ́, ilé iṣẹ́ náà á máa mẹ́hẹ̀. Ẹ má tún wá gbàgbé, ẹ dáwó sínú ẹwà Ọ̀rànmíyàn fún gbogbo ohun tó ń bọ̀, nítorí pé night vigil wa wọ̀ ní pẹ́ lu aago night vigil wa. Tó bá ti mọ̀ bí tí night vigil wa máa gbà tó máa dé, ìwọ ṣáà máa fọkàn bá lọ pé ó ń bọ̀ láìpẹ́. Mò ń bọ̀ mo ì tí ì dé ná, ẹja gbọ́ eléyìí.
Gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lẹ́nu kó náà sọ pé ìlú wa jọ wá lójú. Àparapọ̀ dànù Yorùbá nation must stand. Gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lẹ́nu kó náà sọ pé ìlú wa jọ wá lójú. Àparapọ̀ dànù Yorùbá nation must stand.
À ń fi àsìkò yìí ṣe ìkéde fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ láti gbáradì fún àwọn ìwọ́de tí ń bọ̀ lọ́nà nípa pàtàkì orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá nation àti wípé ìdí tí a fi gbọdọ̀ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìpínlẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ìwọ́de yìí náà ni a máa ṣe káàkiri gbogbo ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjíire bí tí bàbá wa onímọ̀ ẹ̀rọ Emeritus Professor Banji Akntoye yóò ṣe olùdarí rẹ̀. Ọdún 2025 yìí náà ni yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀, a sì máa kàn sí wa nípa oṣù àti gbogbo ohun tí a bá fẹ́ mọ̀. Olùkéde Ọláyọmí Kóìkì, agbẹnusọ fún olóyè Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho.
Lórí tó gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá àtọ́fà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àtìgbò wọ́n láwọn ọ̀gbọ́n ọmọ kí Fúlàní máa tí wa gbé wọ́n máa jẹ oko wa kọ́ máa dàn wá láàmú.
ẹja jáde ẹ máa bọ̀ ń ta kí a ṣe ṣe kí ni o kàtúyáyá kàtúyáyá let's come out and showcase ourselves.
Hello, and Mrs. Carol Smith. Welcome to the program. Thank you. May I?
Before his death. So at independence, therefore, the Fulani of northern Nigeria, living on the population size of the Hausa, became the rulers of Nigeria. And the Hausa themselves, they used to talk of Hausa Fulani. The Hausa were very viciously suppressed. So that Hausa Fulani meant essentially simply Fulani. And the Fulani regarded their duty as not to develop Nigeria, not to develop a country. They didn't know what to do to develop a country. They didn't have the education, or the inclination for education, or the inclination for modern skills. So they decided that the thing to do was to suppress the other peoples of Nigeria. And so they immediately took.
I love Monday.com.
What's Monday.com?
You don't know Monday.com? This is Monday.com.
Advantage, took hold of their Islamic faith, of their strong Islamic faith, as an instrument for subduing the rest of Nigeria. That's what they had used to suppress the Hausa people. So they decided to use it now to suppress the rest of Nigeria. Meanwhile, Christianity had spread in the middle belt of the north and in the south, southeast and southwest, the homeland of predominantly the Yoruba and the Igbo people. But the Fulani were determined to make that kind of fundamentalist and jihadist Islam roll over the whole of Nigeria. Their spokespersons constantly talked of They are going to conquer until they have dipped the Quran in the sea on the coast, on the Atlantic coast of Nigeria. 11 days after the independence, after the celebration of independence, their leader, Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, said to a newspaper, to a local newspaper, this new country called Nigeria shall be an extension, listen carefully, shall be an extension of the estate of our great-grandfather Osman Danfodio. We must use the peoples of the Middle Belt, that is the Middle Belt part of the North, as willing tools. And the highly educated peoples of the South, the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Ido, and so on, as conquered territory. And never let them rule over us, and never let them control their own future. Nigeria was to become an extension of the estate of Osman Danfodio. What was the estate of Osman Danfodio? Conquest by Islam, by fundamentalist jihadist Islam, period. So the whole of Nigeria was to be rolled over by Islam. And that is the agenda that they have been pursuing since then. As soon as Nigeria became independent, the northern rulers of Nigeria decided that the first enemy to be handled, the first enemy to be subdued, were the Yoruba of the Southwest, who are the most educated people in Nigeria, the largest single ethnic group, the people who had produced Africa's first program of free education, and so on. But they were in danger. They were an enemy from two perspectives. The first is that they were a people, they are still a people, who have a tradition of religious tolerance, which has created a situation in which there were millions of Christians, and millions of Muslims, and millions of traditional worshippers among the Yoruba people. An American team that studied Nigeria, that did some research on Nigeria for an agency of the American government, wrote in 2003. The Yoruba are a model of modern coexistence and tolerance, because we found Yoruba Christians, Muslims, and traditional worshippers living harmoniously and happily, not only in the same towns, but in the same households. That's who the Yoruba people were. But that kind of culture was a danger to the Islamic agenda of the Fulani. Because it meant that the Fulani, that the Muslims among the Yoruba would never become jihadists or fundamentalists or terrorists. No way. There is hardly any Yoruba.
Shout out to Aziz Badeshere for the super chat. You can also give us super chat, and you can also support this platform financially so that we can continue to grow. Fún àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i, ntí alánà sọ ni pé àwọn Gẹ̀ẹ́sì wọ́n mọ̀ pé táwọn bá gbé agbára lé àwọn Yorùbá lọ́wọ́, nǹkan máa lọ bó ṣe jẹ́ kó lọ. Nǹkan máa ní ètò bó ṣe jẹ́ kó ní ètò. Àmọ́ wọn ò fẹ́ jẹ́ kó ní ètò. Ànídí tí a ṣe wà níbi tá dé lénìí, òun náà nìyẹn. Ó wá kù sí èmi lọ́wọ́, ó kù sí wọ lọ́wọ́ láti ran bàbá Akíntóyè lọ́wọ́ láti lè jẹ́ kí àjọ dé ilẹ̀ ìlérí. In tó ṣeé ṣe ni, in tó possible ni. Àmọ́ tí o bá ń doubt ẹ̀ pé kò ṣeé ṣe, á jẹ́ pé lẹ́mìí ẹ̀ ń tí ò ń gbọ́ níta látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn olè jẹgúrú jẹrá olóṣèlú, àwọn tó yẹ pé wọ́n ti bá yé ara wọn jẹ́ tó ń ṣayé tiwa, wọ́n ti sọmọ sọ́ọ̀tì Nàìjíríà. Mo kí ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, ìwọ tó ní kò sí ọ̀nà àbáyọ, ọ̀nà àbáyọ wà. Ọ̀nà àbáyọ náà ni pé ká dá dúró, torí pé gbogbo ibi tó kù sí nísìn òun ni pé kí ọmọ Yorùbá, ẹ má bínú, ó dà pé kankan ń dún ní background yẹn. Mo kẹ́yìn yẹn wa o, tẹ̀ǹtẹ̀lé wa. Ọ̀rọ̀ ló wà lẹ́yìn. Shettima ẹja gbọ́n tó sọ nígbà tó lọ sí United Nations, ó ń sunkún abọ́ pé kó jẹ́ káwọn Palestinian kó dá dúró, àmọ́ kò gbà kí Biafra, Yorùbá àtàwọn ìjọ kó dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. Kí wá lè ọ̀nà àbáyọ? Àwọn kan ní ká tún lọ ṣe politics, kí àwọn Yorùbá nation ká kóra wa jọ ká lọ register political party nínú similar country táwọn sọ pé crime country ni. A ní ẹ̀tọ́ láti declare Yorùbá nation wa nígbà tásìkò bá tó, torí pé àwọn òyìnbó ò consult gbogbo wa nígbà tó amalgamate Nàìjíríà. Eléyìí tá a sì ń ṣe ní tọmọlúàbí ni, bí ṣe máa ń sọ ní gbogbo ìgbà. A sì ń ṣe nítorí pé a fẹ́ jẹ́ kó ní ìtàjẹ̀ sílẹ̀ nínú. Freedom kì í ṣe tán fúnyàn lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́, ìtìyàn máa jàdélẹ̀ fún ni, torí kò sẹ́ni kankan tó fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ free. Ó máa jà fún ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀ ni. Ẹ̀tọ́ yàn rẹ̀ ń ṣe tán máa mú fún ẹ nínú orí igbá bẹ́ẹ̀ tó lọ rẹran. So gbogbo àwọn tó ń sọ pé ká tó wá lọ ṣe politics, ká lọ rẹ́jí kí bàbá Akíntóyè àti olóyè Ìgbòho Òòṣà pé kó lọ register fún political party, pé tá bá wá register fún political party, àwa máa sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé party tiwa leléyìí o, ẹ jẹ́ á dìbò fún kó wọlé kó di governor. Àwa fìyẹn push fún Yorùbá nation. Ibi tẹ́ ti bá mọ̀ pé kò ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ló ní làákàyè. Torí tó bá ní làákàyè ni inú Nàìjíríà lẹ ti máa ṣe political party tẹ́lẹ̀ máa wọlé as a governor. Ṣẹ́yìn rò pé lè defeat àwọn criminals, àwọn olè tẹ́ bá tẹ̀ kó èrò jọ lóòótọ́ tí wọ́n support yín tó vote fún yín. Ẹ fi pé àwọn olè politician wá accept, ẹ fi pé Tinubu á fold the hands ẹ̀, ẹ fi pé ọ̀dẹ̀ ní Tinubu, ẹ mọ̀ pé jàgùdà olè lòun náà kò ní gbà. Torí ó ti mọ bí tẹ́ ń lọ, ó mọ̀ pé ẹ fẹ́ fi tákù òun ni. So kò ní allow yín, torí olè ní gbogbo wọn látòkè délẹ̀. They are criminals. Tó bayé, wọ́n bayé ọmọ Yorùbá jẹ́ débi tí a dé lálẹ́ yìí. Tí ọmọ Yorùbá wá ń sá káàkiri. Èèyàn kan pè mí láti Mauritanians. Mo ní kí lẹ̀ ń ṣe níbẹ̀? Wọ́n ní wọ́n ò rí ní ìwé fáwọn mọ́. Dubai ò rí ní ìwé fáwọn èèyàn mọ́. Àwọn èèyàn wọ́n wà ní Egypt. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá dẹ̀ ní gbogbo nǹkan, àwa la ní wẹ́dà tó dá. Ọlọ́run kẹ́ wa pẹ̀lú gbogbo nǹkan. Àwa allow àwọn olórí burúkú olè politician tí wọ́n ju 1% pé kó máa darí ayé wa. Night vigil ó fẹ́ tó dé. Ẹ lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ fún night vigil tó ń bọ̀. Mad people all over the place. Àní bàbá Akíntóyè ti sọ fún yín pé àwa ò ní gbà. Interfere òun náà ni pé kí Yorùbá dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. No negotiation lórí yẹn. We are not negotiating on that. Bàbá wa ti sọ̀rọ̀ fún yín, ó wá kù sẹ́yìn kẹ́ gbọ́, nítorí pé tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá gbọ́ tásìkò bá tó, ó lè ti wà too late. Ṣé ẹ̀rín tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Serbia, ní Belgrade? 4 months làwọn èèyàn ti wà lójú títì tó ń demand fún ẹ̀tọ́ wọn. 4 good months. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, àtọbìnrin àtọkùnrin, ẹ lọ múra sílẹ̀ dáadáa fún night vigil. Ẹ lọ máa wá psalm tẹ́ máa kà nínú Bible, ẹ lọ máa wá chapter tẹ́ máa kà nínú Quran, ẹ lọ máa lọ sọ́dọ̀ àwọn ìbílẹ̀ kẹ́ lọ máa béèrè pé nígbà tá bá wà nínú night vigil irú àwọn nǹkan báyìí ká lè lò. Torí ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí àwọn olóṣèlú fi ṣe 2027 o. Àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá lóòótọ́ náà wọn ò ṣe 2027 torí olè ni wọ́n látọ̀dọ̀ Tinubu dókè désàlẹ̀, they are all the same. Ọmọ ìyá kan náà ni gbogbo wọn. Àní ìyá tó mọ Tinubu dáadáa wọ́n tún pè mí lọ́sàn-án yìí àbí láàárọ̀ yìí kí n tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ program. Mo ní mo pàdé wọn ní party, wọ́n tún wá pè mí. Wọ́n náà máa sọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ló ń dáná fáwọn Tinubu nígbà tó wà on exile ní London. Wọ́n náà máa fi àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ oríṣiríṣi àwọn máa fi tó mi lọ́wọ́. Mo ní mi àwa la máa bá ayé yín jẹ́ lórí social media ká tó délẹ̀ Yorùbá. Tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá yíwà padà ẹ̀yin olóṣèlú, a máa make sure pé a fi social media yìí a fi bá ayé yín jẹ́ látòkè délẹ̀ fún ìyà tẹ́ ti fi gbogbo wa jẹ káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. Ayé tiyín náà ní dá bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe jẹ́ kí ayé ọmọ Yorùbá kó ní lọ síwájú nílé àti lóko. Kọ́mọ Yorùbá máa lọ sí Saudi Arabia tí wọ́n ní fún wọn níwèé. Àìmọye àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá wà ní Europe nísìnyí wọ́n ẹlòmíì kan language ẹlòmíì ò tẹ àwa ẹlòmíì life ẹ̀kọ́ wà useless kò ń ṣẹ́jú ẹ̀. Ẹlòmíì abárẹ̀ ní Kyrgyzstan. Mo ní ó kù díẹ̀ níbọn ró. Àwọn ò ní kankan àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń sọ yìí kò ní dákẹ́ lẹ́nu wa, a máa sọ títí tẹ́ máa fi gbọ́. Tẹ́ bá yíwà padà ó dà, bọ̀tẹ́ bá ní ẹ̀ ní yíwà padà pé ẹ takú àbí bí fáànù yíbò ẹnu ẹ̀ ní gbogbo àjọ wà àbí ẹnu ẹ̀ ní gbogbo àjọ wà. Bọ̀ èyí tí mo mọ̀ ni pé ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń fà yìí gbogbo wa wọ́n sì máa kó wa lọ sí ìlú tí on a neutral ground tá a máa lọ yanjú ẹ̀ nígbà tá a bá ti bọ́ sórí M1.
And so to get a man to agree to wage the war of Islam, a jihad against his own people, is impossible. And so the Northerners regarded the Yoruba people, Muslims and all, as a danger to the Islamizing program. And moreover, among the Yoruba, the largest and most powerful denominations of Christian denominations and groups were emerging among the Yoruba.
Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí kí a tó máa parí ètò ti ọ̀sán yìí, mo kí gbogbo èèyàn wa, ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa tí ẹ tún darapọ̀ àti ẹ̀yin tí ẹ máa gbọ́ VN tí à ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí, ẹ bá wa pín gbogbo ètò yẹn. Ọmọ Yorùbá, doctor, nurse, mechanic, ẹni tó ń tẹja, ẹni tó ń tẹpo, student. Nigeria is not going to work. Let's pull back out of Nigeria. Ẹ jẹ́ ká pull out nítorí pé wọ́n design ẹ̀ pé kó ṣiṣẹ́ fún èmi àti ìrẹ. Àsìkò tó láti gbára wa sílẹ̀. Kò sí òyìnbó kan nígbà yín sílẹ̀. Àwọn tó tẹ̀ kó yín lẹ́rú ló máa gbà yín sílẹ̀. Lọ́nà ọ̀bọ ló fi gbé yín ló máa fi fún yín sílẹ̀. America ò ní fi yín sílẹ̀ lọ́rùn. They are sucking out of Nigeria. Britain ò ní fi yín sílẹ̀. All the European countries ò ní fi wá sílẹ̀. Àwa ni ká put together in our millions and demand our exit from this contraction called Nigeria. And I hope the message is clear enough for you and for me. Àmọ̀ràn là ń sọ fọ́mọlúàbí. Wọ́n ní tó bá dénú àdódéndé. À ń bẹ̀ àwọn ọba wa. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà ńlẹ̀ yìí, ẹ pe àwọn olóṣèlú yín, ọ̀rẹ́ ni gbogbo yín, ẹ ní nọ́mbà wọn lọ́wọ́. Ẹ sọ fún wọn pé àwọn tí wọ́n wà lẹ́yìn bàbá Akíntóyè eléyìí ń sọ̀rọ̀ Sunday Igboho nìkan. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ti kọjá Sunday Igboho. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ló náà wọ́n fẹ́ lọ. We are determined. We are serious about it. And we are not joking about it. We are not making any threat, but we are very serious. And I'll leave it like that. But the bá sọ pé kò sí nta máa ṣe, èmi máa ń like irú àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn pé nta máa ṣe ó pọ̀. But wọ́n ní ntéèyàn máa ṣe, èèyàn máa gbé sínú kun ẹ̀. You put it inside. Ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń fà yìí, ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń fà yìí, tá à ń fà lórí social media, táyìn kan sọ pé kò sí nǹkan tá ẹ máa ṣe. Sórí ìwọ tó ń sọ pé kò sí nǹkan tá máa ṣe, ìwọ náà máa ṣáà máa múra sílẹ̀. Torí nígbà tí nǹkan tá bá ṣe tó bá délẹ̀, á affect ìwọ náà. Almost 2 years ni wọ́n fi ń ja ogun ní Ukraine. Wọ́n ti yanjú ẹ̀ báyìí ní Saudi Arabia. Adúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run pé peace ti ń bọ̀. The war should never have started in the first place. Kò jẹ́ kí ogun Ukraine yẹn kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ rárá. But àwọn alágbára kan tì wọ́n ń tira wọn. Ẹ wá wo iye ẹ̀mí tó lọ. Ẹ wo iye collateral damage. Pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ Ukraine tún máa lose ilẹ̀. Ṣé stage yẹn lẹ fẹ́ kí tilẹ̀ Yorùbá náà dé ni? Kò láti dé stage yẹn ká tó lọ. A lè solve problem yìí peacefully. Ẹ sọ fún President Tinubu kó pe bàbá Akíntóyè kó divide Nàìjíríà kólúkálùkù máa lọ. Èyí táwa fẹ́ nìyẹn. Ṣé mọ̀ pé yẹn ní sì kò mú ìjà dání? Peace ni. Kò mú ìjà kankan dání. But ẹ bá sọ pé kò ní lọ bẹ́ẹ̀, èmi ò mọ̀ tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀. But àgbé ìtókù, àgbé sínú kùn wa. Mo kí Kábíyèsí, the new Aláàfin, mo kí yín. Tẹ́ bá ti ń gba oyè yín ní April 6, tó bá ti ń dé on the 7, ẹ máa sọ fún gbogbo àgbáyé pé Yorùbá fi dá dúró. Torí ànífẹ́ yín náà sílẹ̀ lọ́rùn. A máa fà yín. À ń dúró kọ́ fún yín ní gbogbo àṣẹ yẹn. Torí àmọ́ bí ó ṣe di pé gọ́vnà ló máa fún yín láṣẹ. Àwọn gọ́vnà olè, Ṣèyí Mákindé, criminals. Àwọn olè jàgùdà. Tí wọ́n ò rí kankan ṣe sínú Ọ̀yọ́ state. Tí à ń já wọn yàn. Àkí gbogbo èèyàn wa o. Orúkọ tèmi a máa jẹ́ Ọláyọmí Kóìkì tí gbogbo yín mọ̀ sí Koikimedia. Bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Èyí ni 17/3, 2025. As we just 8 minutes to the end of the program, let me appreciate everyone that have listened and joined us in the last 3 hours. That's our broadcast for this afternoon. But kẹ́ tó lọ. Have you ever thought of supporting a media? Have you ever thought about it? Or you've never? It is very straightforward for you to do so that we can continue the great job that we are doing on this channel. Our Koikimedia YouTube channel is currently off at the moment for 2 weeks on suspension by YouTube. But we are still running 2 other YouTube channels, the WD76 and also the OLAKUNLE Koiki that we've brought in as we have the Facebook on. Our Instagram is back, OLAYOMI KOIKI. We are live on Twitter, Koikimedia. We are live on Twitter space, Koikimedia. We are live on the Mix LR. So there is no way you can say, Mobitawa. Teba Mobitawa. Ajepe, you have refused to follow us on all our platforms. As they are putting their account details out, the OP 6104290167. musakalam1@yahoo.com on PayPal. The UK number account is there. You can pay in whatever forms. If you want to send money in Benin Republic to me, I receive safer as well. And if you don't have anything to give, just pray that we will continue to have the strength and the ability to keep going. 4 years, we must wind this event down finally so that we can declare our country and we can sustain ourselves in whatever shape and form. I have no more business in the UK. If you want to come to UK, that is your own business. 25 years is more than enough. I want to return back and get close to Baba Akntoye. We need you to support us so that we can be able to prepare the journey ahead. Because it's time, people. Today is the 17th. But if we do not get all the support, we will just continue to see what we can do. To go and prepare for the night vigil. I have dedicated myself for that. And we're looking forward to our night vigil. So that is on that. Once again, to every one of you that have joined us, thank you to all your comments. Thank you to the super chat that have come through as well. And we take just one call quickly before we start going from Florida quickly. Hello, Aziz, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, brother. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. Little short message. Aziz will say that in Miami. I have a little message to the Obas, a king of the Yoruba land. Please, help your money. Or Kesson Baba Tinubu, or Kesson Awagba. A lot of Batinubu get one that she might get Sunday go Wasilio. On the real talk, a king of the Yoruba land. And what she might the son of Batinubu, the president of Nigeria. Get some Baba Sunday is goes, and your money needs to come back home. For the past 2 years, businesses it's not a criminal. Find a way. And you're bad Mombasoro, or my no sorrow. I see you Kotodomi. And you're bad. And what that you might bat in Ubusoro. Bring this man back home. Let him come home. If go Shamina, if I see you know to do over them, the man can't take that weather no more. Let's do. We are talking, we coming out every day. Now, keep a of course, you see, and if you know now, 200 billion naira, now. United Nations and African Nation, what's the award in the way, and 2% now. As I know, now. This man have businesses and businesses. Buhari has gone. Abatinubu, you are in charge of this thing, eh? Attorney General, now. I mean, this is getting crazy. This is a message to the Abbas, to the king of all the Yoruba land. Abatinubu, now. I mean, talk to this man. Let this man come home. You're not gonna like it, man, for real. And you're back, right now. But at the same time, don't power every fucking day, man. Sorry, excuse me for my language. Come on now. And then leave. But you don't think about humanity. Have some kind of humanity in you, man. All the kings in Yoruba land. That's the message I have for these kings. Thank you very much, my brother. God bless Yoruba people and God bless the land. This is for sure. It's coming. But when we don't know, but it's coming soon. For real. It's coming down. And get ready. Get ready. That's why they give you the time right now. Everybody should get ready. Because right now, one part 20 people at the same time in one community here, and you kept quiet. They're going to come and knock on your doors. So we're giving you this opportunity to go and talk to Tinubu, the president of Nigeria. The man cannot take that cold weather no more, man. As a Yoruba man. Now. Over 2 years, that is something the man needs to come home.
Òun lẹ ti gbọ́ tí Azeez láti Miami. Ó ní ẹ̀yin kábíyèsí, ẹ̀yin ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, ìgbésẹ̀ wo lẹ̀ ń gbé, kí lẹ̀ ń ṣe lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ Adéyẹmọ láti lè padà wá sílé? Àbí ṣé bá ṣe máa fi ọmọ Adéyẹmọ sílẹ̀ kó wà ní Germany nínú òtútù, businesses ẹ̀ ó lọ́lẹ̀, àwọn ọmọ ó gbọ́dọ̀ tọ́jú wọn. Ṣé a máa fi ọmọ Adéyẹmọ sílẹ̀ ní abroad ni? Ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wo gan lọmọ Adéyẹmọ ṣe? Offense wo ló commit? Gbogbo account ẹ̀ bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí ẹ̀ ṣí. Ẹ gbé ẹsẹ̀ lé gbogbo owó tó yẹ kẹ́ fún 20 billion naira. Ẹ fún, ẹ balẹ̀ jẹ́, ẹ bọ̀nà jẹ́, ẹ tún lé lọ sẹ́yìn odi. Kí ló dé? Òun ni Azeez ó ń béèrè lẹ́yìn ẹ̀yàn ọba wa. Ẹ jẹ́ àyanjú ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ní tọmọlúàbí, àní sọ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Orúkọ tèmi ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkì. Èyí ni 17th oṣù kẹta ọdún 2025 nínú studio wa ní London ni Azeez ti pè wọlé láti Miami, Florida. Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. So on that note, mo kí mọ́ sí mi dáadáa, mo kí gbogbo èèyàn ọmọ Yorùbá o. Àṣeyọrí la máa ṣe, àní ṣe àṣetìláyé wa. As we leave you on this afternoon, we'll be out again tomorrow or day after, and we will continue to say our demands must be met. No retreat, no surrender. Yoruba nation is the solution and the final to all our demands. Give us our country and we will be able to do the needful. Tẹ́ ẹ bá fún wa ní country wa, we will not tell you what we are going to do, but we are just going to say, give us our country. So that Kali Daduro. Thank you so much. Have a very good afternoon. From the North Atlantic to the southwest part of Yoruba land, I salute you all. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, to all my staff, my directors, and all the staff of Koikimedia, we appreciate you for the effort that you're putting in on a daily basis, and we pray for every one of us. Bye for now.